The SprayVandalz.com is the place to get your graffiti supplies. Anything you need, spray paint, markers, mops, stickers, Youfo merch, everything, man. And I've got a discount code you can use, 15% off your entire order. The link's at the top of the comments below. Thank you TSV for sponsoring this video. The graffiti scene is pretty confusing, and let's talk about that right here. Here's 10 confusing things graffiti writers do. Number 1, use multiple names. Graffiti writers often have multiple aliases or tags, sometimes confusing it all up. And it's obviously confusing to outsiders why someone would abandon a recognizable name or juggle multiple names at a time. Some people switch up their names for certain reasons, while other people just get bored of their regular graffiti name and want to switch it up every now and again. Some people might have even got done with the name that they've been using for years that many people know of that are really well known, but they have to get rid of it due to getting caught using that name and the possibility of being caught yet again. Since the cops know who's doing that word now, they need to stop using it to avoid more prosecution. Number 2, obsess over letters. Graffiti writers might choose a tag based on how much they like or how challenging certain letters are to draw and sketch, focusing more on the symmetry and flow or complexity of the letters rather than the meaning itself. Some graffiti writers even make their pieces so complex that you can't even read it anymore, which makes it really confusing. Number 3, graffiti writers cross out other graffiti. Crossing out another graffiti writer's piece isn't just random vandalism. It's actually a deliberate act of disrespect or beef. Outsiders don't realize it's often part of an ongoing rivalry, and there's actually meaning behind why some street art is capped or crossed out, or why a decent looking piece that you'll find, even if it's done legally or illegally, has a big bubble throwy on it or whatnot. There's reason behind it. Number 4, dangerous places to paint. Graffiti writers risk injury or arrest to tag high rooftops, freeway signs, or trains. The harder the spot to reach, the more respect it typically earns, and it confuses the outsiders that look in due to why would they risk that? Why would they risk their life just to do graffiti? Which makes it very confusing. Number 5, take photos but keep them private. Graffiti writers often document their work but don't share it publicly. They might keep digital archives or zines along themselves to avoid legal exposure, but the everyday Joe doesn't really understand exactly why they do that. And there's been plenty of examples over the years that graffiti writers say you really just do it for the flick at the end of the day, especially people that paint trains in certain areas or countries, because when you do graffiti on a train, chances are that train's actually never going to run. So what's the point of breaking into the train yard or wherever the train is kept just to do a piece only for it not to run and be seen by anyone on the system? Once you get that flick, you've got that flick forever, unless you don't hide it good enough when you get raided. Do it for the flick. That in itself confuses the hell out of the everyday Joe who doesn't know anything about graffiti or why people do it. Number 6, they respect certain rules in an illegal activity. Even though graffiti is illegal, there are rules within it. Don't go over a piece with a throwy, don't go over a piece with a tag, don't hit certain churches or schools, and always respect your crew. If you haven't already watched my videos on the unwritten rules to graffiti, I'll link part 1 and part 2 below. Number 7, using odd tools like fire extinguishers. Graffiti writers use water fire extinguishers to create large-scale tags really quickly. Pressurizing paint in a water extinguisher, repurposing it, confusing and strange to those unfamiliar with the scene. A lot of people think graffiti is mainly just done with spray paint or markers or textures or pens or sometimes pencil. I don't know, chalk. Oh no, we get innovative. Bro, some people even use paint brushes, alright? Paint brushes. Number 8, risk arrest just to get their name seen. To the everyday Joe, it's hard to grasp why someone would risk fines, jail, or injury just to put up a name. But for graffiti writers, it's about the identity, the legacy, and the claiming space, and the respect. And I also made a video on that type of thing, the whole entire point of graffiti. People do it for their mental health, people do it because it's a hobby, people do it for so many various reasons. Some people don't even paint the dangerous spots. Some people don't feel like risking their life or risking their freedom to do graffiti. So you'll find that some people only paint chill spots like canals, drains, chill walls, sometimes even legal walls. But I'm guessing what would confuse the everyday Joe about graffiti in certain places is the one where the amount of effort it would have taken to get up high to these spots, like pan scam getting up on all the back of these street signs on the freeways. That takes a lot of effort. Why would someone put their time and energy into something like that? Everything has meaning in life. And if you don't have meaning, then what's the point? Number 9, leaving ghost tags scratched into surfaces. Chances are you've seen these types of graffiti tags on bus shelters or public windows. Just another way to get up. And it's confusing to some people because why would you do that? Just why would you do it? Just comes back to why would you do graffiti at all? Why breathe? Why eat? Why sleep? There's a reason behind it all. Some people might do this type of graffiti, like scratching into glass, to purely vandalize or destroy that said thing. Other people use it just to get their name out there, to be more known. Just another way to get up. Just another graffiti tool, basically. And number 10, travel a long way just to paint a wall. Graffiti writers sometimes will take a full day road trip or even travel internationally just to paint a certain wall, spot, train system, even if it takes them maybe half an hour, a couple hours to paint. Because generally it's not about the money or the fame, it's about going out and enjoying your day, explore new areas, explore new cities, get up in new cities, get up in new areas, leave a mark, different change of scenery, and even networking with graffiti writers as well. It's actually pretty fun going on a bit of a road trip and doing graffiti along the way. The chances that you'll find a chill under the bridge spot while you're on a road trip is pretty high, especially if you're traveling within the country roads and you come across a bridge in the middle of nowhere. If you have a feeling that there might be a wall under that bridge, you pull over and check it out, paint a little piece there, you leave your mark, you have a nice painting session. Basically, think of it as, I don't know, it's just another hobby, which is pretty much what it is. It shouldn't be too confusing to people that don't really understand graffiti or aren't in the graffiti scene, that most of the graffiti writers out there are chill people. Some have families, some have wives, some of them work for themselves, good paying jobs. They're normal people, just the same as someone who would be into motorcycle riding. I guess what confuses the everyday Joe about graffiti is the stereotyping of said graffiti. But that's not to say that every graffiti writer out there isn't just some kid with a can. Generally, if there's a kid that just finds a can of paint and doesn't really paint or do graffiti, they're known as a toy, or something that's less of a graffiti toy. Someone who's just some kid, basically. I've made a video like that in the past as well, talking about what a graffiti toy is. I'll leave a link in the description for you there as well. I honestly think YouTube's starting to shadow ban my stuff again. I really enjoyed working on this video here. It's called How Graffiti Influenced Video Games, and it never really lifted. No one really saw the video. So I'd really appreciate if you guys, if you haven't already watched it, to go ahead and watch it. I actually had a lot of fun creating that video because it was something completely different out of my typical video making. And I especially enjoyed doing it because it's on one of my favorite PlayStation games. And I generally think that I did an alright job, but obviously YouTube isn't being my homie. So I figured I'd just promote it on this video just in case. Thank you very much for the support, guys.